I think it's pretty easy for people to get discouraged when they don't see complete progress. I know it's a case for me when I started losing weight. If I didn't see progress every single time I stepped on a scale, even if it was a week apart or a day apart, I would get a little upset. It kind of hit the core a little bit and kind of just made me in a mood that I didn't want to be in, and that would impact my workouts and impact my day. But I think the important thing to do is just to focus on the bigger picture. At the end of the day, I'm still down around 20 pounds from when I started, so that's huge, and it's important for me to remember that, and it's important for anybody else that's lifting or trying to get in better shape, or whatever your goal is. It's important to remember the initial spot that you started at, because it's still it's a very satisfying feeling for me knowing that I'm 20 pounds lighter than when I started, and I'm trying to get back in the shape that I used to be in. So yeah, with all that being said, off to GNC right now. I got to pick up some more pre-workout, then I'm going to hit the gym, and I have a full day of intense activity today. So I'm going to the gym to start off. I'm going to be playing some tennis with a buddy of mine after the gym, and then around 4 I'm hitting the trails with another buddy of mine, and we'll see how that we'll see how I feel after that. I'll step on the scale after that one, and I'm sure my confidence will go up. But yeah, so I'm gonna go do that. It's gonna be a long day, but it's gonna be a fun one. Peace. So when I first put out my studio tour video, I got a lot of comments asking what the brand of my desk was. But it's actually a desk that I built myself. It was essentially built for the gear that I had, with room to expand. It was a modular design so I could take it apart when I moved out. And just overall, it was built for my needs. But still to this day, I get a lot of questions. I just got one the other day in the comments section about what the brand of my desk was. And I guess it's pretty cool to let you guys know that it only cost me around like 250 bucks. So it was definitely less than the desk that you would get on like the standard market at Sweetwater or something. Plus it's designed for exactly every piece of gear that I have. And I know down the road, once I get more rack gear or anything along those lines, I'll have room to put it in, because you could see here, sorry, a little bit of a mess, but you could see here that I have so 4 rack units on each side. Then down here, this is all expandable via rack, so I could rack everything down here and along those lines, and then same thing on that side. So there's a lot of room to expand with this, which is why I love the desk. And the point that I'm trying to get at is I put together this good old not to scale kind of my studio desk design. So I'm just going to break this down for you guys, and I'm going to show you guys how you could build your own desk for 250 bucks. Let's do it. The first and what I would say are the most important part of the desk are these side pieces. So you're going to need 4 of these. They're going to all have to be the same exact size. Try to get them as similar sized as you can. The base of it is 36 inches, 30 inches tall for the front, 21.5 for the front tabletop, 7 inch. This is going to be where you rack all your gear. 9.5 inches for the top where your monitors are going to sit. Then on the back side, it's going to be 35 inches tall. Keep in mind, if you want to add an angled cut, that's fine. That will change the size of this. So definitely just make 4 of those. And it's this piece right here. this guy, there's going to be one here, one on the inside, 3, and then 4. So we're going to have 4 total. Like I said, I have that angled cut on the back there, and then you can see the rack is right up there as far as the rack gear goes. So you're going to just make 4 of those. Again, those measurements will be in the video. So the next piece that we're going to be making are these tabletops. We're going to need 4 of them. One here, one at the bottom, one all the way up there, and then one at that bottom. So let me swing around here, show you guys the dimensions for that. It's going to be 20.5 inches by 21.5, and they are just rectangles. So these are much simpler cuts, and they're very easy to just cut accurately. You could use the corner of the board that you already have that you pick up from Home Depot or Lowe's or anything like that, and then you're good to go. So just 4 of those, and then those will be the tabletops and the bases. So the next piece is going to be this middle main countertop surface, whatever you want to call it. Now if you look at it from an upward angle, you could see that mine sort of bows out and out, so that way all in all the desk is slightly curved. Now that's personal touch. You don't have to do that. You can make it a square if you want, but the measurements that I did were 30 inches at the bottom, well, the front of the desk, so this is where I would sit, and then over on the back end there's 38 inches. I mean, even if you start off with a square, this is the way I did it. I started off with a square, 38 inches by 38 inches by I want to say 38 inches as well. And then I marked 4 inches in from here, made a mark, cut to that line from the corner, 4 inches in from here, cut, marked right over here, and then cut the line in that way. So that's how I got the angle. Next up, we got these pieces. So there's going to be 4 of these. There's one here, one down there, one here, and one down there. So it's going to be the same thing. You're essentially just going to need 4 rectangles. Don't pay attention to this 2, you need 4. I'm just noticing that now. The dimensions of these are 20.5 inches by 9.5 inches. So for the most part, it's very simple. The desk itself costs around $250. It's not to scale, so definitely don't think that any of this is proportionate to what it actually is. And then as far as what I really used, I did use 2x4s, mostly so I could create sort of like a stabilization or base, so that way it's not wobbly at all. I have underneath this piece that is cut, there's a 2x4 going across there, same thing on the bottom, there's a 2x4 going across that way, and then in the back going across. Up top over here there's a 2x4 going across in the back of it, and then same thing for the opposite sides. So the 2x4s you could put where you think they would be best, and it is important just to pay attention to the stability of the desk. It's very important. Next up, I used screws mainly. I didn't use any nails. I used a lot of sandpaper. Sandpaper was big with this. More sandpaper you get, the better. The smoother you could get it, the better. I got put onto a tip from someone that helped me paint the desk to use Bondo. It's typically used for cars, but it helped get rid of all the creases that you would normally see from joining pieces of wood. You can see here that it's just smooth. There's no edges or creases where you saw 2 pieces of wood being screwed together. Then definitely big one is patience. This thing took me about 3 weeks to finish. I'm glad I took the time with it. I'm glad I didn't rush it because it came out way better than what I originally thought was a finished product. So definitely be patient with it, and definitely pick up wood glue to help secure. Just put on a layer of glue before you go over to the screws, so that way you know that it's put together right. So I mean, I know that the desk is awesome. I love it. I think it means a lot more to me since I made it. It's a place that I'm very happy working at. It's very ergonomical the way that it's sort of curved, and it just suits all of my needs. One thing to point out, when you're focusing on the measurement for these rack units, definitely take into consideration how much rack gear you have, because if you make that too big, you're gonna have open spots. You could always get blank fillers, but I think that having the open spots looks a little cheap. That is one thing that I did that I didn't really take into consideration. You could see my blank spot here. I covered it up, but for the most part, I mean, I wish I had one more rack unit to put in there, but yeah, that's what it is. That's my desk. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. That's gonna be the end of the episode for this vlog. I know I just ran through that, so I'm hoping to have a lot of questions in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. I'll talk to you guys soon.